Okay, welcome to the weekly share of the Zera Shimshon. We're still working on it. I think this is going on 3 years now. I'm not sure. I'll have to check back. But it's Vav, Tavis, Tafshin, Pei Gimel, and it's Parshas Va'yigash. And I'm going to read from the Zera Shimshon. And I'll tell you a segula that I heard from Rabbi Avitan afterwards. Why? It says, V'yesef Yasor Yosef Merkavtai. Yosef harnessed his chariot, and Vayal v'kras Yisrael Aviv, and he went up to meet his father. Where was he? Goishna. He was in Goshen. That's what after they decided, came down from Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Canaan at that time. He appeared to him. He says, Vayera Elav Vayipol out Savarav. He appeared to him and it fell on his neck. Vayevka out Savarav Oyev. And he wept on his neck excessively. What's going on over here? So Rashi makes a point of telling us that although Yosef fell on his father's neck, Yaakov did not reciprocate and did not even kiss his son. Oh, after 22 years? Something wrong here. The reason our rabbis tell us that Yaakov was saying Kriya Shema and couldn't be interrupted. Kriya Shema now? Was it the Zman of Kriya Shema? Was it the Nates? What was it? The seeking? Erev? Was it in the evening? I mean, what kind of Kriya Shema here? There is an obvious question. Why did Yaakov choose to say Kriya Shema at the exact moment that he was about to meet Yosef for the first time in 22 years? If you're going to suggest that perhaps Zman Kriya Shema fell out at the exact moment, that shouldn't Yosef have been busy saying Kriya Shema as well, and everybody else? Okay, furthermore, the pasuk seems to imply that Yaakov first saw Yosef, and only then began saying Kriya Shema, instead of celebrating their long-awaited reunion. And as a side question, you could see there's a very interesting perception here, concept here. When did we get Kriya Shema? In the Torah, it's very interesting that they always apparently said Tefillah and Kriya Shema. I don't know, where did they get commanded from, right? Kriya Shema was certainly not a deraisa at that time. So anyway, side questions, you can find the answers for yourself. The Zera Shimshon answers from a quote in the Zohar. It says, the words Shema and Echa together form the word Esmach, I will be happy. The oversized letter Ayin, which has a numerical value of 70, of Shema, hints to the three avos, right? Since Avram Avinu, who represents Chesed, built 70 bridges of Chesed. The Yitzchak representing Din gave rise to the 70 elders of the Sanhedrin. And Yaakov was the father of the 70 souls that entered Mitzrayim. And the oversized letter Dalet hints to the 4 Imois. Now, you're quoting the Zohar, so if you're wondering why it's 70, then I'll tell you a little secret, a little bit. I don't know a lot, but there's 7 spheres, lower spheres. There's 10 spheres altogether, and the 7 lower ones, it's Avram Avinu starts with Chesed, and Yitzchak with Gevurah, and they all have 10. So it's 7 times 10 is 70. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot more to talk about that, but not for this year. Yaakov Avinu had never seen all 70 of his descendants together until that moment. Yosef's reappearance meant that all the Shvatim were reunited for the first time in many years. At the incredible moment when all this occurred, Yaakov began reciting Kriya Shema in order to put the finishing touches on his unique tikkun and the yichud that was inherent in the letter Ayin and bring it all together. That's from the Zera Shimshon in our Parshas Va'yigash, Ois Yod. You want to look it up yourself. It's mamish a beautiful little piece. Okay, now here's the segula from the Zera Shimshon. This was a letter from a man named, a nickname, right? That Reb Shlomo Chaim Greenberg. He lived in Bnei Brak, where he worked as a Sefer Stam for many years. Baruch Hashem, I have been relatively successful in my chosen field, and a good reputation which allows me to sell large quantities of my work. Suddenly, however, things changed, and I found to my dismay that the brokers weren't coming to me any longer. In fact, things got so bad that I found myself with a large box of mezuzahs, which wasn't able to move. To be honest, I have to admit that I was being contacted by a number of brokers, but I wasn't prepared to sell my work to them because they were offering such a low price that I would be selling my work at a loss. I therefore held out, but my parnasa was suffering greatly. One day, my good friend of mine, Rav Fishel Berkowitz, advised me to begin learning the Sefer Zera Shimshon on a regular basis. It didn't take much to convince me, and I followed his advice, and I started to learn from the Sefer every day. 2 weeks passed before I picked up the phone and called Rav Fishel. I'll never forget how excited that I was being able to make that call. Fishel, I said to him, listen to what happened to me. He could hear in my voice that something amazing had happened. I took your advice, began learning Zera Shimshon. Now, this is only 2 weeks later. After a week, I received a phone call from an important mezuzah broker. Shlomo Chaim, he said to me, I need to make a large purchase from you. Okay, so how many do you need? I asked him. As many as you have in stock. Oh, wow. Knowing how things worked and that the big brokers seldom wanted to pay a fair price, I decided not even to get into negotiations with him. I don't have what you need. Reb Shlomo Chaim, he replied, don't be like that. It's an emergency and I need a lot of schar. Okay, I appreciate that you're being in a bind right now, but you are not going to want to pay my price, and I can't afford to give you a schar at a loss. Okay, I need mezuzahs immediately, and he replied, and I'm willing to pay full price for them, no discount. Music to any sofer's ears. Let me tell you, the broker purchased every single mezuzah that I had in stock, which meant that I went from being penniless to feeling at peace with my financial situation for the first time in many months. To be honest, it was difficult for me to believe my own eyes, since such a large business deal had never come my way in all the years I've been working as a sefer. It was clear to me that this happened to me in the merit of learning the Sefer Zera Shimshon. From that day on, I never begin writing until I have learned a specific number of chidushim from the Zera Shimshon. I also daven to Hashem and ask him to help me be matzliach in the schus of the mechaber. So says Reb Chaim Shlomo Greenberg, the Sefer. Everybody have a wonderful Shabbos, and may everybody have a hatzlacha rabba in all inyanim, in parnasa, shidduchim, and refuos, and shalom bayis. Okay, and I forgot, I was going to tell you Rabbi Avitan. Rabbi Avitan brought down a very famous Sefer Apter Rebbe, and he says that you can pray on the New Year's for whatever you want, because here's the deal. And if you prayed on Rosh Hashanah for whatever you wanted, and then it didn't happen, you weren't matzliach, or you didn't get your answers, so he said, now you can pray for whatever you want, and you will get answered. Why? It's shuas. Because God's looking, he says, he compares, look what the Goyim are doing on their New Year's, and look what we're doing on our New Year's. So there's no comparison whatsoever. Okay. And so therefore, you just tell God, compare what Yidden do and what Goyim are doing, and grant me my wishes. Amen. So may it be for everybody else. Hatzlacha Rabbah, and have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov.